Metals move heat. Heat or electrons moving is called conduction. Yes, we use the same word for heat moving as we do for electrons moving. Heat moving fast and electrons moving fast is called conduction. Conduction. Heat conduction, electrical conduction. They both happen in metals because metals have electrons that aren't held in one place. They can whoosh around like a sea, all splashing around. They're called a sea of electrons. Metals are good at conducting heat and conducting electricity. Metals conduct heat and electricity because their electrons are free. The free sea of electrons can quickly move heat to every part of the metal. On hot days, big things push lots of heat into your skin so they feel hot. They do this when your skin is cooler than the metal. On cold days, big things pull lots of heat out of your body. Yes, metals make heat move, but if it's big, there's lots of heat to move. And metal also moves the heat out your hand, and if it's big, it's going to make your hand very cold, so that they feel cold. Cars are big enough to do this, but the ball of your ballpoint pen is too small. Big metal things conduct your heat away quickly when your skin is warmer than the metal. There's me getting a bit warm. Heat moves from hotter things to cooler things. Colder? Cooler. Yeah, cooler things will do. It's kind of interesting. The non-metals of bed covers feel cold for a short time until you have warmed them up. A metal bed cover, duvet, bed cover, would not be good because your body heat would have to warm it all up. Atoms, don't have duvets and blankets made out of metal. Big tip. Be heavy too, unless it was aluminium. Still heavy. The atoms in a metal are all in straight lines, like students, all lined up in the playground. The electrons can move really quickly between the lines, between the lines. Yes, between the lines. Just like a hot potato thrown along the gap between the lines of students. But if it is a cold day, yes, I do this experiment with my students, line them up, throw a piece of paper, let them all mingle around, try throw the same piece of paper, bangs into them. So metals lined up, metals conduct the electron, which is the piece of paper. Moves really easy between the atoms, which is the students, if they're all lined up. But if it's a hot day, the students are fidgety and move around more. And the lined up students aren't so organised. And the lines aren't so straight. Yeah, that's better. Editing. So, the hot potato doesn't go very far. Yeah, I don't use hot potatoes. I use piece of paper. Throwing things at students is a hot potato, so you get me in trouble. That is why hot metals don't conduct electricity well as cold metals. Oh, sorry, earthquake. The hot atoms vibrate more. Vibrate. The atoms get in the way of the electrons moving along the lines. The vibrations make it harder for the electrons to move. Vibrations, yes. When it is harder for the electrons to move, the metal has a higher resistance. The higher resistance make the electron current move slower. Metals conduct electricity worse. Worse when the metal is hot. Moving heat or electricity is called conduction. Metals conduct. Well, because metals have free electrons called a sea of electrons. Small things are warmed up by your hand, but big things, like a car, feel cold as your body heat is conducted in. Metal atoms are lined up in straight lines. Yes, when it's the pure atom, the element, 100% one type of atom, straight lines. You start putting in other metals, carbon into iron to make steel, then not quite so lined up. Atoms lined up in straight lines are called crystals by scientists. All metals are crystals. Yes, but the things that don't conduct are non-metals like plastic, cotton, wood. Fast-moving electrons move from the hot end of the metal to the cold end by speeding down between the lines. Hot metal atoms vibrate into the electron's way, increasing resistance. So, to make metals good at conducting electricity, less good at conducting electricity, heat them up. Yes, this is why we've got superconductors that are very, very cold. They conduct with no resistance at all. Cool. Press my picture to get more of my videos. Press like, press subscribe,